Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. Dell was caught marketing their gaming laptops as more capable computers for running plugins, aka cheats, in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds at a recent Intel event in China. During a presentation about their new laptops, Dell's spokesperson repeatedly mentioned plugins that give players an advantage in PUBG, saying that their laptops can run more plugins to win more at chicken dinner. A video showing cheats being used in PUBG matches what was shown during the presentation. Dell has responded by saying they condemn any modifications misused in gaming, regardless of their intent or understanding of cheating in PUBG. Dell have seriously messed up here. Cheating is a massive issue for developers, costing them millions in anti-cheat software and research. PUBG has very much slowed down their development of certain features because they've been focusing so much on the effort to combat cheating. Promoting cheating is never okay, but it's even worse coming from a massive computer distributor. Now, it is possible that Dell didn't quite understand what they were saying during this presentation, referring to it as plugins. I have a feeling they knew exactly what they were doing. China has, I believe Brendan Green quoted them as having 99% of the cheating cases and hack cases were coming from China, and already a huge portion of the PUBG player base has been banned. Like, it's an astronomical number of cheats, so Dell was just trying to capitalize on this massive cheating player base. Now, PUBG's next map, the tropical island called Savage, is coming back for a second round of testing next week. It'll be available on the closed experimental server starting Monday. To get access, you need to sign up via the developer's website. Players that had access to the previous testing phase for Savage will automatically have access to the new phase. If you're unfamiliar with the new map, it's a 4x4 kilometer map, making it the smallest PUBG map by, well, about 1/4. Games played on this map tend to be faster paced than on the two existing maps. In its previous test run, Savage was still pretty unfinished, with many buildings lacking complex geometry. As for the live version of PUBG, a new patch has been released that attempts to address the game's pacing issues. The starting circles will now shrink faster and sooner, giving players less time to linger in their drop zones. Later circles will move a bit slower and deal more damage. The effect of these changes are kind of unclear overall. On one hand, they encourage players to move earlier in the game, but at the same time they don't do much to change mid-round pacing, which is where the game suffers the most. The devs also added a few new areas of interest to the desert map, fleshing out its formerly barren northern region. Clothing loot spawns have also been removed from all maps in an effort to improve performance and making looting a more streamlined experience. Thank God for that. This change in particular has been highly requested by the community since pretty much the early days of testing. Nothing sucks more than going to loot a gun only to pick up a shirt instead. As for the performance benefits, it's tough to say if the change had any real impact. As for the latest event mode, players now have access to a team deathmatch mode. 3 teams of 10 players can square off on a small area of Erangel. Everyone spawns with a random assault rifle or DMR, 1 random pistol, level 1 armor and a helmet, and a grenade. Loot is available in buildings and care packages drop every 90 seconds. The first team to 200 points or the closest to it after 15 minutes wins. In our final bit of PUBG news, console players will finally get access to the desert map later this month. The map will spend some time on the test server before going live to all players. It will also come with a patch that includes some performance optimizations. Fortnite was offline for an entire day this week after a critical failure took down the game's account service database. It's the first major outage in a while for the game. As an apology, Epic are giving players some in-game loot. The outage also pushed back the return of the game's 50 vs 50 deathmatch mode. Fortnite's latest update dropped before the outage and included a new grenade called the Porta-Fort. Using it quickly will spawn a 3-story metal fort with a 1x1 base. This is a really interesting new dynamic to the game, and I can't wait to see how it's used by some of the veteran players. Boss Key Productions, the developers of Lawbreakers, have launched a new game. It's an early access on Steam called Radical Heights. It's an 80s themed third-person battle royale shooter. I played it a bit this weekend. I gotta say it's not bad for what it is. changing up the nature of deployment on the map and also swapping out a shrinking circle system for a grid system changes up the gameplay in an interesting and meaningful way. I actually think it's a big improvement over the way that current popular battle royales are doing things. We'll have to wait and see if this game can take off. It is a free-to-play right now, and it seems like most of the money is going to be made through cosmetic transactions. If you want to know more, check out the video I did earlier this week. Hunt Showdown's latest patch targeted severe performance issues. Specifically, it addressed the game's stuttering issues. Since launch, stuttering has been a big issue with Hunt, and this new patch has evened things out for many players. It's also addressed frame rate a little bit, but future patches will target it even further. Incursions is backed for Battlefield 1. The competitive mode has garnered very mixed reactions from the community and mostly has just kind of gone under the radar by most Battlefield players. This iteration has a ton of tweaks and changes to pretty much every aspect of the experience. DICE are clearly trying to make Incursions a mix between hardcore esports titles like CSGO and the traditional Battlefield experience. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they're quite there yet. It's also questionable if that kind of design philosophy really works at all. The most successful esports titles have competitive game modes that are almost identical to the casual game modes, and Battlefield's is a completely different mode. Bungie has revealed the next expansion for Destiny 2. Called Warmind, it will likely include the standard fare of new areas to explore with unique enemies, loot, and more story content. Unlike the previous expansion, Curse of Osiris, all PvP Crucible maps developed for Warmind will be free for all players. Warmind patch will also buff enemies, making them tougher to deal with, especially for lower level players. The microtransaction system for Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been reintroduced. Initially disabled because of the community outcry, the system has been dormant for months as DICE reworked it. Thankfully, the new system only includes cosmetic items. The co-op Prison Break game A Way Out has sold over 1 million copies in 2 weeks after release. Players work together solving basic puzzles and challenges to bust out. The game tends to be a little bit more stealthy and has received a huge amount of positive reviews from players. A new character trailer for the upcoming 4-player co-op game Overkill's The Walking Dead has been released. It provides some backstory for one of the game's playable characters, Maya. She was a working nurse at a hospital during the zombie outbreak. It's likely she'll be a healer of some sort in the game. Unfortunately, the trailer is all CGI done by a third-party studio and doesn't feature any actual gameplay. It's likely we'll see a full reveal of the game at E3. The latest DLC for Ghost Recon Wildlands, called Special Operation 1, has led to speculation that a new Splinter Cell game is in development. The DLC is essentially a crossover between the two franchises, featuring Splinter Cell's main character, Sam Fisher. The last Splinter Cell game, Blacklist, was released in 2013 and was the first game not to feature Michael Ironside as Fisher's voice. Ironside returned for Fisher's appearance in Wildlands. Kotaku have inadvertently revealed BioShock 4 is in development. Buried in an article about the failing of Mafia 3 is a mention of a top-secret development studio currently working on a new BioShock game. Details are very scarce and nothing in the way of a story or setting being revealed. Apparently the game is still very early in development and is currently codenamed Parkside. The next generation of AMD's Ryzen CPUs has been revealed. The new CPUs are less expensive than previous generations and offer improved clock speeds overall. How much of a performance bump they'll offer remains to be seen. They're currently available for pre-orders and they start shipping on the 19th. In our final story this week, Sega is getting on that classic console craze that Nintendo's started up with the NES Classic Edition. They'll be releasing the Mega Drive Mini, a retro-styled emulation console based on the Sega Genesis. They haven't revealed what games will be included, but I have a feeling we'll be seeing a variety of Sonic the Hedgehog and hopefully, fingers crossed, Shaq Fu. It's also not clear if Sega will simply be using an existing product or developing their own custom unit. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if there's any stories you thought we should have covered or which ones you enjoyed the most. And we'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.